There's a wise old proverb that says, "The world is my family." And if we subscribe to the statement, "Love thy neighbor as thyself," then we need to focus that proverb, "For the world is my family," to "the district is my family." And that means a child suffering in the Southwest is as painful to us as a child suffering down the street or possibly in our own home. So much needs to be done to address the causes of violence in our community: better housing, better health care, better economic opportunities. But at its core, we must provide ways to reduce the stress and heal the traumas that fuel so much pain and suffering: drug abuse, violence, crime. There are obviously different ways we can do that, many tools in the toolbox. But tonight, at this unique and extraordinary concert, we celebrate the simplest, the oldest, easiest, and possibly the most effective way: meditation. Backed by science, universal in its application, practiced by people of all religions, meditation, and specifically transcendental meditation, is a way to access the profound field of silence that exists within every single human being.
Gentlemen, Mavis Staples.
Pulled into Nazareth, feeling about a half past dead. Just needed to find a place where I could lay my head. Mister, can you tell me where a girl might find a bed? He just grinned, shook my hand. No was all he said. Put the load right on me. Put the load on me. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. When Jesus calls. When Jesus calls. When my Jesus calls. He washed my sins away.
We are living in an epidemic of trauma and toxic stress, for which there is no conventional medical intervention. The number 2 cause of death in America today among teenagers? Suicide.
By the time they're in your classroom, they are broken. They are experiencing PTSD like these soldiers. PTSD is not only what happens in Afghanistan, it happens on Alabama Avenue.
When they are stressed in toxic situations and violent communities, the access for learning, for concentration, for memory, all of those things are going to be hampered.
We say we don't want children to kill each other, yet it keeps happening. We say we want our children to live an equal life of opportunity, yet it's not happening. We say we want a better society, but yet when it comes to our children, we keep doing the same things over and over and over again.
When we go into a classroom, first we ask the students, how do you use your mind? How are you using your body? What community do you belong to? What types of relationships are you involved in? And then how do you feel when each of those areas of your life are stressed? They turn to all these different things that are external, and what we offer them is another tool. We say there's another option, there's transcendental meditation as something that helps you eliminate that really deeply rooted stress that you've accumulated after all of these years as one way to manage the way that you interact with others.
It's not just about making kids de-stressed or less stressed, it's about making kids available to be successful.
This first study is from students at American University, and they looked at a number of different parameters, distress, anxiety, depression, anger, and coping ability. In all of the cases, the TM exceeded the control. There was a reduction in all of these negative things and an increase in the coping, the positive thing.
But there's so many things that our kids are experiencing that's going to affect their education: anxiety, depression, ADHD, oppositional defiance. That's what affects teachers. And transcendental meditation helps decrease that and gets that violent, it calms them, and now you can actually put them on a level where you're able to teach.
Preemptive is much better than post-traumatic. I would much rather be teaching kids transcendental meditation than teaching them how to get over a school shooting, than teaching them how to get over the funerals that we have to attend because of the violence in our streets. So please, when you leave here today, when you think about it tonight, when you talk to your friends this weekend, just ask them one simple question: what is your school doing about toxic stress? And if they can't answer that question, call Bob.
We're going to change education here in the borough of Brooklyn, and it's going to cascade throughout the entire city and the entire country. So together, let's meditate, let's heal, let's enjoy the moment.
Transcendental meditation is, I would say, the number one thing, the number one tool that has changed my life. It's brought me so much balance and so much peace and stillness and creativity, and living in a chaotic time, it is exactly what everybody needs to start doing. And for me, I have had depression in the past, and I've always used my music to combat it, but using both my music and meditation has always set me straight. It's the number one thing I do whenever I'm starting to sink a little bit, just to lift me back up. And it really does something for my brain. It'll feel like at a certain point, something shifts in my neural pathways, and all of a sudden, I start lighting up different neural pathways or parts of my brain that feel like they've had cobwebs on them, and bringing color and light to them and feeling like a halo is kind of just igniting around my head. And, you know, whenever I'm in a funky mood, if I need an attitude adjustment, which is, you know, it happens sometimes, if I'm jet lagged, if I am anxious, and if I'm just so anxious, crawling out of my skin, I will say, just give me 20 minutes. Give me 20 minutes, and I will go deep, come back out a transformed person.
I think I had my first drink when I was about 12 or 13 years old. From 21 on, it got like really bad. If I would be upset about something or stressed or didn't know what to do with myself, period, I would use any excuse to have a drink. But I was a closet drinker, so I don't think anybody ever saw how much I drank.
I took my first drink with the same kids that beat me up because I found out after I got sober that my first drug of choice was your approval. I was homeless. I was smoking, sniffing, and licking the carpet and doing anything I can get my hands on.
I've been anxious since I can remember. And it took me years and years and years to screw up the courage to tell somebody I felt anxious. And then once I told a doctor I felt anxious, I was given a prescription. And so nobody's treating what's causing the anxiety, they're just treating the symptoms of the anxiety. And eventually, you know, in adult life, in the last decade, I turned to alcohol.
We have 19.5 million American adults with a substance use disorder today. 19.5 million. And what they're really doing is they're trying to quell their anxiety.
People don't use alcohol and drugs indiscriminately to wreck their lives. They actually do these behaviors with some sort of sense, even though at the finish line it doesn't quite look like that. It looks like a train wreck, right?
I always wanted to do TM because a lot of the successful people that I admired did TM. I haven't missed a day since I learned. It's been almost 2 years, and it's changed my whole program of recovery and my creative life as an artist.
I've been sober, I think, 6 months now, and meditating for 5. This is the longest I have been sober outside of being pregnant. And I think a huge part of it is because of my meditation. It takes me to a certain part of relaxation that I didn't even think was possible.
My anxiety is a lot less than it used to be. Transcendental meditation helped me unclench in that moment and slow down.
Stress and craving and that whole intersection of those kinds of psychological variables really plays a critical role in the relapse process. And so anything we can do or offer patients to help mitigate some of that can be a very positive thing. And I see meditation in general and TM specifically as having great promise in relapse prevention.
And the research is crystal clear. The research is incontrovertible. They are able to attune with themselves, which is sort of a fancy way for saying they can start to think straight.
I have found it to be an incredibly useful complement and an incredibly useful component to my own recovery and my own sobriety.
We in the addiction field need all the help we can get in enhancing our treatment, and I would like to see this become part of mainstream addiction treatment.
My whole way of looking, my perspective of the program and how I live my life changed. And I know it was from meditation. I know it was.
For our species, for young people, for old people, for people that are suffering, for people that don't want to suffer, for people that want the world to change, for people that believe that the world can change, this technique is a significant tool.